Folks, David here on the Vintage Future once again. Hey, hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to do an initial impressions review on this Thursday wax jacket right here. My wife and my brother got it for me for my birthday. Thanks, guys. And I couldn't be happier with it. I think this thing's fantastic. Now, you never really know, so just a caution, this is just an initial impressions. With any product, if the reviewer, including me, gives you an initial impressions review, that's not the real review, because so much changes, right? Our opinions can change a lot if you use something for 6 months. So people who don't use their items before they review them, take that review with a grain of salt, because they don't really know what they're talking about, including me. So this is just initial impressions. But my initial impressions are really good, considering that I think Thursday Boots takes a lot of crap from a lot of people. Whether it's for their boots or their jackets, they take a lot of crap from a lot of people. I think the reason they get it from both sides, right? They get it from the people that want to pay less, people that only buy mall brand stuff because they say Thursday's too expensive. I don't see what the point is, whether it's boots or jackets. People above that, people that are buying like, $500+ boots, people that are buying like, $500,000 plus leather jackets and stuff. They're like looking down on Thursday saying, what a load of crap. Like, this stuff sucks. But when you really see what Thursday is doing, like what the point of Thursday is, it's actually pretty amazing. You're getting something that's better than mall brand stuff, like bonded sole, glue sole, stuff that can't be resold, that falls apart really fast, made out of crap leather, and all that. It's not friendly to the economy or people or the environment. And you're not paying that much more for it. Like, when I buy my wife a pair of boots from DSW or whatever that's made out of all that stuff, they still cost like $100 or like $200 sometimes, and they're not made that well, and it's probably questionable ethics and this and that and the other. But with Thursday, you're paying just a little more for something a lot better. And then from the other end of things, it's like, are they hitting at the price point of like $700, $900 boot? Well, no, but they're $200, So when I found out that Thursday was making jackets as well as boots, I was excited, but I was like trying to keep my expectations low, because there's so many mixed reviews about Thursday. It's like the reviews that trash them, like, are they valid? Or are people unfairly assessing them by comparing them to brands that are like quadruple the price, And so I just don't know, because I've never actually owned a Thursday product for myself for a long period of time. I have gotten their stuff and tried it on real quick and sent it back, but I've never really owned stuff. Or my wife has stuff from them, but that's women's boots. They're made a little differently, not quite the same as the men's welted line. Yeah, so I just wasn't sure what to think. So I had some store credit to Thursday, actually, and so I was like, this is going to be the birthday gift. And so I looked at their website and I found these wax jackets, and it was perfect because it's exactly what I was looking for to fill a certain space in my outerwear wardrobe. I've got, some leather jackets and some overshirts, my Barber Ashby, my Patagonia barn coat, a bunch of things like that. But the thing I didn't have is I wanted a lighter colored jacket, like in the brown or tan color family. And I didn't want it to be quite as long as my Barber or my Patagonia barn coat. Those are great. I love them. I wear them all the time. But they're a bit long, so that's cool for when I want that. But sometimes I want something a little shorter, right? Something more like the length of my denim jacket from TCB. Also, I did like the idea of trying a waxed jacket. I have the Barber, which is waxed, but it's not quite that like Americana workwear sort of waxed jacket. So, if you look at Free Notes Rider jacket, or once again, the Flint and Tinder jacket, there's all kinds of ones out there. I can't quite remember, but I know there's a bunch of wax jackets, right? It's this certain look that everybody loves, and I thought, man, that would be so cool. So brown or gold or tan color. I want a wax jacket. I want it to fit a little shorter. And I looked at a bunch of the different jackets out there, and a lot of the designs didn't really speak to me. I wanted something more simple. I did not want a chore coat. I've got no issue with that, but I already have my Patagonia barn coat, which looks very much like a chore coat. It's got like a ton of pockets on the front, looks like a construction worker's jacket. I wanted something that like is like workwear-esque, but wasn't definitively workwear. Like it could really just pass as a garment from some modern store somewhere. So that was kind of the deal. That's what I was looking for. And so when I saw this Thursday wax jacket, I was like, this is perfect. I love the simple design. Its beauty really is in its simplicity. There's not pockets everywhere. The pockets it does have are well executed, and the placement on them is really good. And it was a wax jacket, and it wasn't super long. And so I was like, okay, let's give this a try. So I ordered it. It arrived. It arrived yesterday. I wore it the remainder of the day yesterday, and I wore it all day today. And it's been awesome so far. So initial impressions were, first of all, I was looking over the thing, and everything looks like it's well put together. The buttons are nice. They seem like well secured, and the stitching all looks straight and clean. I wasn't finding like super gross, disgusting stitching all over the place. The material itself, it's like 100% cotton impregnated with wax, right? It was nice and hefty. It's like a 10-ounce fabric from the UK, I believe. It's nice and hefty. The wax was nice and even. It's not all sticky and gross. The blanket lining, 100% cotton blanket lining, was really luxurious feeling, really soft, not itchy or scratchy, or like sometimes you get this new fabric and it's already pilling or something. It's great. It's great. The tag and the hang loop and all that stuff is well secured. There's like corduroy lining both cuffs and along the bottom of the jacket. Really nice corduroy. Yeah, so initially just looking at everything, it all seemed to pass. But then the fit test, right? You put it on, like, does it actually fit? This is really where a garment either rises or falls. I put the thing on and it seems to fit perfect, true to size. I am 5'10". I vacillate between 170 and 175 pounds these days. And I've got about a 33-inch waist. I usually cuff my pants to a 29-inch inseam, about a size 10 in most boots and shoes. Just to give you an idea, 18-inch shoulder in a dress shirt. I'm like a 15 and a half, 32/33. I'm usually wearing a medium in just about every brand for shirts, jackets, size 40 jacket in a sport coat or a leather jacket. And the size medium fit me really nicely. I would say this is the kind of garment that you would not want to size down for a slimmer fit unless you're never going to close the jacket. Like, sometimes people do this thing where they like try to size up or down with a garment to get a different kind of fit in that garment. Some garments you can do that. Other garments, it's like, look, it either fits or it doesn't. If you size down, you're not going to be able to close the jacket and the sleeves will be too short. If you size up, it's going to be super baggy and all that. It's really meant to be worn a certain way. Like, if you wanted a slim fit garment, buy a different garment that's slim fit. If you wanted a relaxed fit garment, just find something else similar that is relaxed fit. I'd say this is one of those. I'd say this is the kind where you just get your true size. It might be hard to figure out what that is, but once you figure out what it is, I'd say get your true size. And if you get it bigger than that, it's just going to look sloppy and weird, which could be a style thing. If you're doing it just for style, that's fine. But if you're trying to fit things as people normally would fit them, yeah, if you go a size up, it's just going to look baggy and weird because this jacket is a relaxed fit. Go a size up and it's going to be even bigger, and I don't think that's going to look good. And you'll be swimming in it and all that stuff. And then if you go a size down, I feel like you're not going to get that slim fit you're hoping for. You're just going to get a relaxed fit jacket that doesn't fit you anymore. That's my opinion. Maybe that's just me basing it too much off my particular body type. but that's what I think about it. So anyways, it's great. Now, like any garment, especially something that's got wax all over it, it was a bit like crunchy, boxy. It looked like I was wearing cardboard a little bit at the beginning because of the way that the fabric is, and because it was like folded up flat inside a box, right? But once I put it on and warmed up the fabric a lot, like by walking around, body heat, I went on a walk in the sun and all that. Like, once you do that, it starts to mold your body, much like a denim jacket would or a leather jacket. It is fitting really nice. It doesn't have side adjuster buckles on it, but I don't think you need that. I don't anyways. I think it's just perfectly designed, and it really leans into the beauty of how simple this design is. It's got button cuffs, a button flap chest pocket, and 2 hand warmer pockets, one on either side, of course, and then an inside patch pocket on the right hand side. That's kind of dumb, I think, because most people are right-handed, so that means you would want the inside pocket to be on the left hand side, because typically you would grab things with your right hand and place them inside the left side of the jacket. Not a big deal, but I think that's a little silly. I'm not sure why that decision was made, but it is what it is. But the pocket size itself in there is really, really a good size and good placement, well executed. The chest pocket is in a good place. It's an appropriate size. It's quite usable if you need to use it. That's great. The hand warmer pockets also are great. A big pet peeve of mine is when a garment has hand warmer pockets and they place the pockets too far forward on the front of the jacket so that the aesthetic is messed up. Like, I like hand warmers, but I don't really want to see hand warmers. I don't like these huge diagonal lines like cutting across the front of the jacket. So I think they should be placed back toward the sides of the torso ever so slightly, so that when you're looking at the jacket straight on, you're not like staring right at these pockets. They're kind of a little bit hidden from view, and this is like that. I love that about the design. They're also a really good placement. Everyone's body's different, but for my arm length and everything, the placement of the pockets is great. You know, sometimes you have hand warmer pockets and you feel like you have to raise your arms like up to get your hands in. I feel like that on my Barber Ashby. They're just like too high. If they're so high that you have to think about it to put your hands in, your hands don't just naturally go in, then they're in the wrong spot, in my opinion. And then if they're too low, you feel like it just feels weird. I feel like my arms are kind of hanging down, whereas these are like right at the right height. So that's a good thing. It's a good size. I can like fan out my whole hand in there like this. That's cool. One thing I don't like about the pockets is that the outer side of the inside, if that makes sense, has that same blanket lining, which is nice and comfy. But the inside does not. The part closest to your body, it's that waxed material. I don't like that, one, because it's not as cozy. And then 2, if you wear this in the rain, you know, if rain does get in there, or like if your hands get wet and then you put your hand in there, that's just not as comfortable to have your wet hand on this waxy material, especially if it's cold outside. It's like this cold waxy material, as opposed to like the blanket lining. Like, even if the blanket lining or corduroy or something gets wet, it's still like soft and kind of cozy, right? So I would prefer the whole pocket to be lined with that. Similarly, I'm not quite sure how you would do this. I'm not a garment maker, but the collar, like the back of the collar right here, is all that waxed material, which is cool. But I'm thinking, if I was wearing this in the rain, I'm going to get raindrops on the back of my neck, and then I'll have this moisture between my neck and this collar, and in cold, rainy weather, this wax material is just not going to feel very good on the skin. It's like going to be this cold, wet, waxy thing. I would rather, at least right at the back of that, it doesn't have to be the whole inside right here, but to have, like a strip, at least in the very back, like a strip of corduroy or something, kind of like it has in the sleeves. Corduroy, maybe some of that blanket lining or something, to have this like soft, warm thing on the back of your neck. Maybe it's just me, but I have other jackets that are kind of like that, and I like the feeling of something soft on the back of your neck. The other downside of this jacket, which is true of any waxed jacket, is that this jacket, since it's waxed, doesn't really breathe. And so it's not a great all seasons jacket. Like, it's not the jacket you want to wear in the summertime if it's like a cool morning in the summer, because it really does have to be a little like actually cold outside to be able to be comfortable. I've noticed if I'm wearing it and it's like 60 degrees, whereas I can wear my denim jacket in 60-degree Fahrenheit weather, and I'm not going to get like sweaty pits and elbows. With this, because it doesn't breathe, my pits and my elbows get just a little bit sweaty. But once it gets down into the 50s and the 40s, then you're fine. But yeah, if it's like 60 and the sun is on you, it's not super breathable. So any wax jacket's not going to be your best bet. But I can't wait to see how it performs in the rain. I'm sure it's fabulous, just like my Barber. One cool thing about this wax jacket thing, which is why I think people love it so much, is it really does mold to your body a lot. So I'm starting to get really awesome like folds and creases. It looks like a shell that was shaped to my body at the crease points. Because it's got like that wax in it, kind of like a pull-up leather on boots. Like any crease point, when you pinch it, it's going to get lighter because it's like moving those like fats, waxes, and oils around. It's kind of like that here. So you get this really cool depth of character in these wax jackets. They've got a very hardy, outdoorsy sort of look about them. And I don't know much about the Flint and Tinder jacket that I assume this was designed based off of. But a couple things I will say just on observation from looking at the data on the Thursday website versus the data on the Flint and Tinder website is, one, this is 10-ounce fabric, while the Flint and Tinder typically is a 7-ounce fabric. I don't think bigger and thicker is necessarily better. Like sometimes we do this thing where we're like, it's a 25-ounce fabric, yeah, you know, and it's like, well, that seems really uncomfortable, and that thing's going to look like you're wearing cardboard. Like, that's kind of a dumb idea to make, you know, like a 20-ounce waxed fabric jacket, I think, in my opinion, right? So I like, though, that this is a little bit heftier than the 7-ounce. Like, it's got some more heft to it, but it's not over the top. So that's cool. The other thing is the Flint and Tinder jacket has like this seam that goes across the front chest. I actually like the look of that. But the thing is, when you have a jacket that's supposed to, in theory, be worn in the rain a bit, the idea is usually put as few seams as possible. That's like one thing with Barber, is most of their jackets have like no seams on the top at all. The Ashby has one shoulder seam, but like the Bedale and the Beaufort and stuff, they have no shoulder seam, right? And the idea is like, if you're going to get rained on, you don't want those seams. Okay, so now none of this is supposed to be hardcore rain gear anyways, but I just think if you're designing a jacket that in theory should be worn in the rain to some extent, you know, maybe don't put a giant seam across the front chest. But yeah, it's not really the end of the world. I'm sure it doesn't affect it that much, but I noticed that. They've got plenty of colors to choose from, so probably something for everyone. The one that I wish they had was something maybe a little lighter green. Their olive is awesome, but it's a bit dark. So they have this in the Coyote, which kind of is like dark tan, light tan. It would be cool if they had like dark olive, light olive, but they've got pretty much all the colors checked. So that's cool. Yeah, it looks good. Buttoned, unbuttoned. It doesn't look weird unbuttoned. Sometimes like jackets look good buttoned or unbuttoned, but not both. This one's great. I think the opening between the two panels is a little thin, but I don't know how you would change that, and it's not that big a deal, so I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, it looks good from the front, from the back. It's great while I'm driving. It's not like pulling on the shoulders and stuff. It's got plenty of shoulder volume and everything. So yeah, I honestly couldn't be happier, and I think it's hitting right at the price point. It costs less than the Flint and Tinder, and you're getting pretty much the same thing as far as I know. And it cost way less than the Free Note Rider jacket and most other jackets like that. Like when Ironheart or one of these companies comes out with a waxed jacket, they're always costing like $400, $500 or more. And so yeah, I see no downside really for this price. I really see no downside. Made in Portugal. I think that's cool. Yeah, anyways, regardless of the fact that I don't really know how it stacks up against other brands, I think this jacket is really fantastic. And again, the simplicity of it is awesome. So I'm going to use this for months, and then I'll do another review. So anyways, loving it. And let your wax jackets take you to places more important than the jackets themselves. I will see you next time.